Well, good morning. We're back in Middle Earth, and they have dropped a small update, or not so small update if you're a minstrel, because today is the day they have nerfed the yellow trait tree. And yes, we already know how I feel about that. While I usually use the blue trait tree and occasionally the red, and have never really used the yellow, I do feel bad for those people who specialized in the yellow trait tree and can no longer do so. But aside from that, there are some other changes which we will go over after I get done taking some quests. So let's start with Fella's gun.
Once you spare moments of your time.
We took the Orcs by surprise when we landed and quickly routed them into the forest. However, we believe they may either have another camp nearby or are preparing a retaliatory assault, for we have recently seen goblin scouts on occasion. We have dispatched our own patrols to find their camp, but have thus far been unsuccessful. If you would, scour the Mirk-Eaves for these elusive scouts. Perhaps they may carry some clues as to their camp's whereabouts. They have a mastery of stealth, so it may be difficult to find them. Also, you should speak with Tethelnan, Hefnel, and Feronial here at Ekatsirion. They may have other tasks for you. Wow, that name is a mouthful. And there is Tethafnel. Madriel, it is good that you have come. Our forces swept through this area like a storm, but we were unable to signal our kindred in Lothlorien that all went well. If you would, I have a task for you. Take this banner to Felug, the ruins of an Orc tower overlooking the Anduin, to the south of here, and brace it with stones. Surely you will find a suitable pile of stones there. When our banner flies for our kindred to see, return to me. We're going to find various quests the further we go. And here's Feronial.
Mind my words, Charlotte.
If you have a moment, Madriel, I would speak with you. Our forces landed recently upon this shore and drove off the Orcs after a mighty battle. However, many dark creatures have been seen lurking upon these shores still. Many wargs and Curbane roam the Mirk-Eaves, undoubtedly spying for the enemy at Dol Guldur. The eyes of Dol Guldur must be blinded to our movements. If you would purge the Curbane and warg from these shores, I would be most grateful. Be wary upon your task, for goblin scouts also roam the beaches, and they may ambush you. Well, luckily for you, goblin scouts are on my list, so let's go find some stuff to kill. So we gotta find Curbane, wargs, goblin scouts, and we're supposed to plant a banner, but I think there's might be some other quests in that same area. I cannot remember. Alright, so while we're looking for stuff to kill, there were a whole lot of other class changes aside from the minstrel. Minor changes mostly, surprisingly. None of them involved the Runekeeper. We won't be reading through all that, but I will leave a link to the update notes if you wish to read them. Now, some things to note. The mini expansion pack Before the Shadow is now available for pre-purchase. It says, reveal the mysteries of the One Ring as you venture through the reedy fens of Swanfleet and the moors of Cardolan. Journey alongside Boromir to Rivendell, and run afoul the Witch King and Nazgul in their pursuit of Baggins, and the peaceful land of the Shire, as shadow begins to pour forth from the land of Mordor, Explore 2 new regions with a new leveling experience from 1 to 32 and more. And of course, they leave a link where you can read more about it. I'll be honest, it sounds interesting. I'm certainly not planning on starting a new character just so I can experience the new leveling zone. Although I will probably take Medriel or perhaps Miss Fistula out there to see it. Or maybe even Thorgrim. Who knows? There's a Goblin Scout. Well, hello, how are you? Another change they've made is that they are allowing for new class combinations. So, Dwarf and Stout Axe characters can now be Captains and Wardens. Elves and High Elves can now choose to be Burglars. Hobbit characters can now be Champions and Lore Masters. And man characters can now be Runekeepers. Now, while I admit that that is good for people who want more variety in their characters, there is no way that I would ever want an elf to be a burglar. It just does not match their character at all. Nor do I believe that any man has the longevity to even attempt to become a runekeeper. And thus, I would never make those characters. However, your mileage may vary. Of course, all minstrels' class traits have been reset. So when you log into your minstrel, you'll have to respend your trait points, which is expected with such a big update as the one they've made. And the only other minor thing of note is I guess they have added new cosmetic items to the game in preparation for this year's Harvest Math Festival, which begins at 10 a.m. Eastern on October 12th and runs through November 1st. Kind of wish it would last a little longer. It's one of my more preferred festivals, or as I usually like to call it, the Halloween Festival. Because that is the one where you get to go into the haunted burrow and do those quests. And it's one that I actually am fond of and look forward to each year. That and Yule are probably still my two favorites, although Midsummer is pretty close too. I would say a pretty close third. But yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing what new things get added to that festival. Hopefully some new pretty dresses, because I do like dresses on my characters. At least the female ones. The rare male one, nah, not so much. Okay, need one more warg. And one more goblin scout. Those are all birds up there. But yeah, aside from all those little things there, you have a whole list of stuff for classes. And like I said, Runekeeper was not among those. But there was a lot of stuff for minstrel and a few things for other classes. There was a few adjustments to a couple quests and instances. And it looked like a lot of adjustments for player versus monster play. I know pretty much nothing about monster play because I think I visited the moors once for like 5 minutes, and that's just not for me.
In these dark days, we must work together for food.
But again, I will leave a link to the full patch notes so that you can go and look if you wish. Also, on a more character-driven note, I did take Medriel up to Krasgaladon, worked on her crafting. She was able to progress in her jewelry and her prospecting, which is something I probably should have done ages ago. She is still working on finishing her supreme jewelry. Will require more gemstones to polish and more ore to process. She's also working on finishing her supreme prospecting. Again, we can grab the ore and work on that. And then she'll be working on Westfold. Also have taken her a couple of times to work on her rep for Lothlorien, and I am happy to say she is less than 2,000 points away from Kindred, so maybe 3 more quests total, and she'll be done with that, and then we can see what kind of rewards she can get, including that horse. As for Lug, our scouts have encountered a vicious warg who stalked them all the way back to our encampment. This creature is a threat to those of us who continue to patrol the wilds of southern Mirkwood. Travel to Falug if you would, Medriel, and put an end to this beast. For such a deed you will receive what reward I may offer. Hurry, Medriel, we cannot allow this warg to continue harrying our scouts. I kind of remembered there being some quests up there that involved that place.
Mind my words.
Besides medicine, the Malodrim need food. We have seen few creatures fit to consume in this forest, but we must certainly continue to try. You can help with this. There are many boars now dwelling in the ruins of Falug. As they live near the riverbanks, perhaps they have not suffered the corruption of Dol Guldur. Would you hunt these boars and bring their meat to me? You will be compensated. Be wary, though. Black Tusk, an immense boar of vicious temperament, rules over the boars. You will need to slay him as well. Alright, so we're going to go back to the base camp, Ekatsirion. Turn the 2 quests in and see if there's anything else to pick up in that direction. There will be more quests for here eventually. And actually, there's another place I just thought of it has quests for here too. So there's actually quite a number of quests in the Mirk-Eaves after the intro. And oh yes, we need to find one more scout. So I guess we should be doing a little zigzaggy wander around until we come across one. You know, I often wondered if prospecting involves ore, why does it not also allow you to get points for gathering that ore as well as processing it? Not even necessarily a lot of points, just some points. Maybe we should get off our horse and try to do this. Now, if this was a hunter, this would be a much easier task because, of course, they have a tracking skill. Barring that, we'll just have to kill things until one finds us. And why not kill some wargs? Because killing beasts, I believe, is a deed anyway. The Kerbane should work as well. And excuse me, I seem to have a frog in my throat. Well, there's a hider here somewhere. Where are you? Where are you, little hider? I saw the... Ah, there you are. All right, that's finished. Now we can go back to camp. Yeah, you get two different icons when you've noticed a hidden enemy. One of them says you know it's there, but you don't know where it is. The other one says you know it's there, and you can see a faint outline of it, even though it's still hidden. Oh, that's a campfire. Oh, you can cook there. Okay. Very good, Madriel. It will be long ere the eyes of Dol Guldur will be fixed upon us. Perhaps by then the rest of our forces will have joined us. Okay.
What do you mean?
These tokens bespeak of several encampments, Madriel. I will send scouts out immediately to find them. Remain here, though. I may yet have a task for you. Oh, and look, and he does indeed have a task, and it looks like somebody else just popped one, too.
Might you spare a moment of your time?
Madriel, while you were gone, one of our scouts discovered the location of an orc encampment to the south and another to the north. However, these tokens you brought me belong to 4 different tribes or companies. I fear there are other camps we may not have found yet. While I send more patrols out to find the other encampments, you should travel to Ekad Glamadud, near the Orc camp, and speak with Glamadud, the chief scout there. He will give you further instruction. You should also speak with Emil Deer here at Ekaterion. He was involved on the initial attack against Durbar Stog and may know more about the remnant of the orcs there. We must not be caught unaware between enemy forces. Well, that would be this guy here who wanted to talk to me anyway.
How can I be of service?
Greetings, Medriel. Yes, Falasgan is correct. I could most certainly use your assistance.
Will you lend me your ear?
Hell, Medriel. Falasgan was right to send you to me. The Orcs of Dol Guldur, mustering in the Mirk-Eaves, were well nigh destroyed, but a few survived and have holed up in the ruins of their encampments, attempting to regroup against us. One such encampment is Durbar Stog, which lies just north of Ekaterion. While the encampment was severely damaged in our first assault, it may still only be entered through 2 gateways. Go north and find the gateways into Durbar Stog and determine which one is the least heavily guarded. It is upon that gate we should lean our assault. And make sure... Nope, nobody up there. So we'll start with checking out the camp. because we're just scouting to see what's what. And of course, well, I already have a pretty good idea of what we're going to see. I might have done this a time or two. This gate is heavily guarded. And let me tell you, by heavily guarded, I mean, these are level 65. They have like 43,000 hit points apiece. And actually, I think they've decreased them. They used to have more than that. But there's like 6 or 7 of them. Unless you have a group, you really don't want to go rushing in there, because they will kick you hiney. Oh, I think one of my first characters, I went the wrong way and went through that gate. Let's just say it didn't end well. This gate is only lightly guarded. Okay, so now we have discovered which gate is probably the best to go through. I will go tell him about that. Of course, he'll have other tasks for me there, but we will do those later because we have other things that we have promised long before his.
How can I be of service?
You met resistance at both gates. Tell me more.
Stay a moment.
It appears we may take advantage of the weaker defenses at the eastern gate at Durberstag. It is time to test their strength. Enter Durberstag by the eastern gate and engage the enemy there. Test their mettle, then return to me. We may learn something about their encampment, which may aid us. Durberstag lies to the north, and the gate you seek opens through the eastern bulwark. Which I would know because I was the one that told you about it. Alright, so. Remember I said there was another... I believe this is that other elf that is near the encampment on the hill. So let's go find out if I'm right. Now, I'll be honest, I've done Mirkwood a time or two. I mean, not enough to be as familiar with it as I am with Moria, but enough that, well, I guess I was right about this one too. Okay, so, let's start here. You have come from Ekatsirion. That is well, for we are in dire need of your assistance. Now, the Orcs of Dol Guldur have established a camp at Azure Moffalag, not far to the southwest from here. Unfortunately, we learned that there is also a kennel of wargs located to the south of here. Golden One. We'll have more knowledge of that camp, as she is the one who discovered it. When I tried to get closer to Asher Moffalag, I nearly set off a trap set by the Orcs. I found no others, which I thought strange, until I realized that they were perhaps spread out to discourage larger forces from moving against them. If you would, search the fields between here and Asher's Moffalag and see if you can find any more traps. Disarm any you find. Eventually we will want to attack the camp directly, then return to me. And as you can see, we have more quests. Greetings, Medriel. Might have a word with you. Golden One believes that we can only reduce the threat of wargs by destroying both the beast and their handlers. I, however, believe there is a much more efficient way to handle them. destroy their sustenance. When next you enter Model Lore, look for barrels of food for the wargs. If you destroy these, the wargs and their handlers will be forced to retreat, or at least refrain from foraying against us. This flint, steel, and kindling should be of help. So he wants me to burn some warg food. I bet you that's going to stink.
Will you lend me your ear?
Medriel, I am sure you learned that there is a kennel of wargs kept by several goblins not far to the east of Azur's Mothalug. Model Allure is what the enemy calls it. This camp is surely where the wargs roaming the shores of the Mirk-Eaves are coming from, and it is a threat we must deal with at once. I need you to enter Model Allure and defeat as many wargs as you can. I wish I knew if I was saying these even close to right. When you have completed your task, return to me. And of course, more. Besides slaying the wargs, perhaps there is another way to make their warg breeding ineffective. Every camp has a leader, and these wargs have many handlers. If you could go and defeat any goblin keepers you find, perhaps by defeating the handlers, the wargs will be thrown into disarray. When you have slain the goblin keepers, return to me. And one more.
Might you spare a moment of your time?
In the end, I believe the only way to truly reduce the threat of the wargs is to defeat their leader. Cut off the head and the serpent will die. Amid the wargs, there is a warg rider who leads them all. Defeat Uruk and his beast, and the wargs will surely be thrown into disarray. Return to me when your task is done, and I will reward you as best I can. And of course, like in Lothlorien, these quests are going to give us reputation with the Melodrum. If you go up this way, there is a path to get up here again. And we're going to double check and make sure we didn't get any new quests while we were down here talking to these people. I know at some point more quests do show up here. I just don't remember when. Not yet. Because these are the two we would speak to about it. Alright. We are going to start with... okay. We have so many quests. We want... the Fulug stuff, which was planting the banner, killing the boars, and killing a boss, minor boss there. And we can also mark off the traps too, I think. No, actually, the traps are in a different direction, although we might run across one or two. I have to admit, for atmosphere, I kind of really like Mirkwood. I actually like Angmore too, even though I did bypass it to get to Moria. But yeah, Angmore, Moria, and Mirkwood have the darkest, most realistic feeling atmospheres in the game. Realistic in a, yeah, there's a war going on here sense. And of course, we will have to do some of Angmore, even though it's way under our level now, because we'll need to at least do the quest chain to get past the Watcher Stones. And we'll actually do some of that when we're doing Gathering the Grey Company, because, well, that quest chain is going to take us there anyway. Oh, backpack. Okay. And we got, ooh, 35 silver. Another boar. A lot of boar up here. From what I've heard, it's actually very tough and gamey meat. There's Black Tusk, which we need to kill. And he is dead. Okay, so we'll get more boar. There is our boss over there that we need to kill. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get that done. And he's dead. It doesn't seem like he belongs here. A warg among the boar. But I guess, actually, if you think about it, it kind of does make sense, because he's got a ready supply of food. Alright. Now, luckily for us, here we just have to plant the banner. Other places that we do that type of task, it's plant the banner and then defend it. Oh, and make note of this, we will be back here. And we are very, very close to Ekatsirion, so we're going to go turn that one quest in. I actually enjoy doing most of the quests in Mirkwood. Not all of them, but most of them. Although I'll be honest, I can't say I enjoy every quest in any one zone. There's always one or two that make me go, oh, did you really have to add that?
What do you mean?
Welcome back, Medriel. You have planted the banner. Then all is well. Once the threat of siege is lessened, Lord Celeborn will muster a greater force to join us. Alright, so we have completed establishing a foothold, which means we did a certain number of quests. Oh, I'm a Supreme Jeweler, huh? Deed completed. Complete quest in Mirkwood. We even got 10 LOTRO points and 300 reputation for that and 2,000 virtue experience. Very good. So, our next one is, we have to do another 10 quests to complete it. We'll get another, oh wait, so, no, the first one would have been 5 LOTRO points, because this one is 10. Either way, we have more quests to turn in. And perhaps turning these in, we will get more quests. You see, I cannot remember. All I know is that we go up there a few times. And yes, that is the place where the instance took place, where we took the Mirk-Eaves back from the Orcs. And of course, I always forget which way this door is, or entrance. You'd think I would remember this one after a while. I mean, it's just a small encampment, right? Well, there's the back way. All right, up we go, and up and around. There's a warg. Hello, warg. Yeah, you can just stay over there. All right. Here's our quest givers.
What do you need?
Agon Glock has been defeated, and that is a relief, Madriel. You have well earned this reward. You have slain the great boar Black Tusk, Madriel. Well done. Unfortunately, this meat is no good for provisions. Alas, the shadow of Dol Guldur reaches too far. Too far. And we are now known to the Melodrum. Very good. So, we've already made acquaintance with the Melodrum, just doing that little bit of quest. We've got a good start going. But I think that will be it for today. Next time we will continue working on the quest here in Mirkwood. And perhaps we will also have that kindred with the Galadrim, so we can take a look at some of the rewards there. Until then, bye for now.